Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Spear Show podcast right here on the American Liberty Radio Network. You know, we have so much going on. Stuff is falling off of my desk here. We've got so much going on that we are being so skull-plugged and distracted at the same time that we don't know what's up, what's down, what's sideways, what's backwards, what's forwards. We don't know. We don't know. And what happens is we get into this frame of mind of one aspect of it. We get into this frame of mind of, well, how do we, get over this? How do we transcend this craziness that's going on in our world? The other aspect the other aspect of all of this is ignoring it. Now, in my opinion, from my perspective, I can't ignore it. I can't ignore the complete destruction of the United States of America. I can't. Can you? And if you're in the Netherlands or you're in Australia or you're, in England or something, why are you allowing your government leaders to destroy your country? Oh, by the way, they may not be doing it on their own. And obviously they're not. They have help from the Bilderberg Group. They have help from the Trilateral Commission. They have help from the Council on Foreign Relations. They have help from U.S. military intelligence, British intelligence. Can I go down the line before you get who's actually running this show? Not my show, the governments around the world. Do you get a clue? Do you have a freaking clue? Because obviously, there's something much bigger at play here. Have you ever been, speaking of playing, have you ever, when you were a kid, you and your brother, or you and your sister were playing a game, and then one of the other siblings or a cousin or somebody, a friend, whatever, came in and decided to sit down and just take over? Damn it. Sorry, I got some stuff going on. That is basically what is happening in the world today. You've got the players in the field. You've got, rational, logical things happening to try to keep these countries running and people happy and all. That's what used to happen. Now you have the big bully in the schoolyard coming in saying, no, you're going to do this or I'm going to beat your ass. This is exactly what's happening. Somebody absconded with the freedoms and liberties and the pseudo freedom and liberties in other countries and is now calling the shots. Oh, and by the way, this has been happening since 1871 in the United States of America, with the help of foreign countries and foreign banking interests. Don't believe me? Go check it out. Oh, I know you don't believe me. I don't get email from anybody telling me anything other. Well, I don't get email at all from anybody about this show, about what I say, about what I talk about, because people are cowards. People don't know. People don't care to know. They want to ignore it. And that's the aspect that we are dealing with at this point. Well, you got choices. Either push forward and take care of business the way you know how, or ignore it. Obviously, people want to ignore it. AmericanLibertyRadio.com is the website. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA is the email address. I'll be back right after this. The reality underneath the honesty. Listen to Brian Lang over at Live Truth Radio. Go to livetruthradio.com for more information. What we see is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. The only choice for all your independent hits on the internet. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast right here on the American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, the website and email respectively. So what do we got going on today? We had a Supreme Court decision that pretty much told everybody in America, except for a few, that your morals don't matter. Your religious beliefs don't matter. Or your opinion about disagreeing with these few that push the issue of gay marriage. Now, there was on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook, there is I believe, a map that shows, it's a GIF, so it's animated, and it shows from 1999 to 2015. In 1999, no states recognized gay marriage. In 2005, some recognized it, and now 10 years later, all states recognize it. Now, is that a civil rights aspect? Is that a victory for the LGBT community? From their point of view, yes. Does it matter to me? No, not at all, because it doesn't affect me at all. It's not physically or mentally or emotionally or religiously affecting me at all. But apparently the federal government has decided, or some states, I should say, have decided that if pastors in different churches don't perform gay marriages or same-sex marriages, they're going to get fined or put in jail. This is absolute tyranny, folks. Persecution of Christians. Do you understand that? Now, I know some reports have said that. Can I verify any of those reports being accurate? No. You have to go do your own homework on this. Okay? And share with me what you find. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Oh, and here's something that has come to light within this debate. From naturalnews.com, Mike Adams, the health ranger, writes, SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, same-sex marriage decision may have just legalized the concealed carry of loaded firearms across all 50 states, nullifying gun laws everywhere. Hey, that would be a victory for us Second Amendment supporters, huh? Let me go on. Mike Adams writes, the legal argument of gay marriage proponents is that because gay marriage is legal in a majority of states, that quote-unquote right cannot be infringed by remaining states which opposed gay rights. The U.S. Supreme Court is granting this new nationwide right to gay marriage, cited the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, Section 1, which states, and I'm going to quote this. You can go look this up yourself, folks. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor denying any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Unquote. That's the Constitution, Section 1, 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Continuing here, the actual ruling text of the SCOTUS decision makes it clear that its quote-unquote equal protection logic would apply universally to concealed carry gun rights which already exist in a majority of the states. Quote, the fundamental liberties protected by the 14th Amendment's Due Process Clause extend to certain personal choices central to the individual dignity and autonomy, including intimate choices defining personal identity and beliefs. When new insight reveals discord between the Constitution's central protections and a received legal structure, a claim to liberty must be addressed. Applying these tenets, the court has long held the right to marry is protected by the Constitution, unquote. That is a section from the decision from the Supreme Court of the United States about gay marriage. Continuing, similarly, the right to keep and bear arms has also long been protected by the Constitution and affirmed in multiple Supreme Court decisions as early as last year. Quote, in District of Columbia versus Heller, 2008, the SCOTUS ruled that the Second Amendment rights were, quote unquote, fundamental in and of themselves, as well as, quote, fundamental to the nation's scheme of ordered liberty, unquote. Writes Hawkins at Breitbart.com. If this right to keep and bear arms and to carry concealed firearms is already recognized in some states, then by the Supreme Court's own precedent on gay marriage, that right cannot be denied in any state. SCOTUS may have nullified gun laws by legalizing gay marriage, and it goes on and talks about the same thing. Bob Owens writes for BearingArms.com, quote, by using the Constitution in such a manner, the court argues that the Due Process Clause extends, quote, certain personal choices central to the individual dignity and autonomy, unquote, accepted in a majority of states across the state lines. Of the handful of states that still banned the practice, the vast majority of states are, quote unquote, shall issue on the matter of issuing concealed carry permits and enjoy reciprocity with a large number of other states, unquote. He continues, quote, I'll be driving through the District of Columbia, Maryland, New Jersey, and New York in several weeks, places that until yesterday I did not have a legal right to conceal carry. As of today, with this decision, it would seem that these states and the district must honor my concealed carry permit or violate my constitutional rights under the 14th and Second Amendment, unquote. A.W.R. Hawkins, writing for Breitbart, adds, quote, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that every state must recognize same-sex marriages. They used a bias of judgment that will not easily stop at same-sex marriage. In fact, it is a basis of judgment that should offer itself to national reciprocity of concealed carry permits and permit holders, unquote. I'm going to put that at the top of the American Liberty Radio Network Facebook page. I'm going to say this right now. Right now, I am going to say this. If you live in a state that is a shall issue state or an open carry state, do it. Okay? It's on the American Liberty Radio Network Facebook page. I have a great amount of disgust for what Washington, D.C. is doing to us. I have a great amount of disrespect for this person in the office of the presidency and of the 9 Supreme Court justices. No. The 5 Supreme Court justices that ruled on this. Now, they did a good thing, they did a bad thing, according to this report that I just read from naturalnews.com. They told everybody in the country, gay marriage is now legal. Same-sex marriage is now legal, or you can just marry. This has gone beyond just that rationale. Now people are saying, well, what if 3 people want to get married at once? Well, what if a 40-year-old wants to get married to a 15-year-old? What if? And you can go down the line and fill in the blanks. But what the United States Supreme Court justices have done has said that under the Equal Protection Law, under the 14th Amendment, I have a right, my right of the Second Amendment to carry my firearm is now protected across state lines. And I can carry it anywhere I want. Okay? This is a case of, I don't think these 5 Supreme Court justices really understood what the heck they were doing by following the 14th Amendment. Because now those little things in the 14th Amendment can be used to justify and literally put the stamp of approval on the Second Amendment. Okay? The Founding Fathers knew that we needed to protect ourselves. They went into the first Congress in Philadelphia and went, you know what? We're going to allow these people to carry. We're going to allow these people to protect themselves. That not only do they have the freedom of speech, which they can say whatever they want, as long as it doesn't, get too crazy, right? But they also have a right to protect themselves. Okay? Over the years, that has been redefined and constituted and just torn up, pulled apart, redone, and you know why? Because the vast majority of the liberals in Washington, D.C., which takes up about 85% of them, right there in Washington, D.C., want things to be exactly the way the Democratic Party wanted it to be, which is massive control. This is what they want. And you can see this by the overregulation of Illinois, of the state of New York, the state of California. You can see this. It's all there. Okay? It's all there. They don't want freedom. Oh, but wait. The Republican Party is the same way. They don't want conservatism as you and I both logically know it to be. No. They have sided with the Democratic Socialists under a national feeling of, oh, yeah, here's this. And you can hear it in the candidates for president on the Republican side. Okay? The rich elite on the Republican side are saying, oh, we want to do this for America. We want to do this for the people. The Democrats are going, they're stalling, they're stopping us from doing what we need to do, and blah, blah, blah. You see where it goes? It's exactly what it is. It's either party positioning themselves to control the rest of the United States. Oh, but that's not all. After the break, I'll come back and I'll discuss that a little bit, and then we'll get into something else. AmericanLibertyRadio.com is the website. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com is the email address. I want to hear from you. So talk to me. Let me know what's on your mind. I'll be back right after this.
It is official. The Supreme Court of the United States of America has ruled that same-sex marriages are now legal in all 50 states. And, Congress has passed the Trans-Pacific Partnership, essentially destroying the Constitution and Bill of Rights of the United States of America. We are officially now the North American Union. It is now time to rebel against the international banking cartels and fight once again, as our ancestors did in 1776, and defend our freedoms and liberties. There is no time like the present to push forward for the sake and principles of freedom. The people are resilient and will continue to stand against tyranny and the New World Order. The choice is clear and decisions have been made. This is our last chance to fight for what is true and right. This is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. It is now time for all of us to stand and fight, defend the principles of liberty so that we can be free once more.
What we see is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. The reality underneath the honesty. Listen to Brian Lang over at Live Truth Radio. Go to livetruthradio.com for more information. Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back. This is the American Liberty Radio Network. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast right here for the 29th of June, 2015. 29th. Yeah. Wow. It's almost, well, the year is half over in a couple of days. I mean, seriously. Think about it. Where are you right now with your acceptance of what's going on? The Supreme Court decision about gay marriage doesn't affect me. Doesn't affect me at all. I have family and friends who are gay, and they know where I stand, and I know where they stand, and we know the issues, and we can still buy each other lunch and, be friends. Doesn't affect me one bit. Doesn't affect me at all. Matter of fact, I really hope that they're happy. But I also know for a fact that with this decision, the article part of the article I just read, which is up on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook, I know this is going to get more debate. And I know that the federal government is going to come along. When I say the federal government, I'm talking Washington, D.C. and all of their, enforcers are going to come along to organized religion, no matter what religion you are, and force you under the threat of jail or a fine to officiate gay marriage. If they don't, then, hey, they don't. But as of right now, that is the consensus. Okay? Let me take you back a few years. Okay? Canada said gay marriage was legal there. I don't know the outcome of their decision in their parliament and their courts, but from what I heard, gay marriage is legal in all the provinces in Canada. But they also said that the pastors of the churches have the right to, do whatever they want to do. They don't have to perform them. But you see, here's a little tidbit of information. When something is made law, here in the United States, you can guarantee that years before it was already being done. That whatever was done that was supposedly not recognized by the states was already done. And so the federal government just came along in this recent case, under the guise of freedom and equality, and said, well, since it was done anyway, then we're just going to make it legal. So now we get this insane debate about incest, about child pornography, about underage sex, about, that's legal. No. Here's my point. Before you throw stuff at the computer screen or pound on your iPad, the churches in America, organized religion, has dictated to the rest of us what is moral and ethical. And guess what? They pushed this issue to the extreme level that it is. And in the last 10 to 15 years, the LGBT community and those not in the community but are gay and all that have decided that they've had enough of the tyranny of organized religion, that everybody is equal. And because I know the Bible, because I read it twice, I can tell you this much. Christians, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Do not judge, lest ye be judged. Shall I go on? Yeah, you're going to sit there and say, you're taking it out of context, brother. Really? How about reading the Bible? Oh, by the way, did you know that Bible was written by man? Oh, yeah. Inspired by God. Don't give me that crap. Guess what? Jainism and Buddhism are the oldest religions in the world, far older than Christianity. Far older than those in the historical Old Testament believing in one God. Go look it up. So Christians, you either step off and go back to your little hole in the wall and do what you believe is good and right and righteous for you to do, and leave well enough alone, or you're going to be in the middle of a huge intellectual civil war that you're not going to be able to win, because history is not on your side. Okay? I know this. I'm a student of history. And if any number of you historians out there that claim to be Christian have overlooked the most horrendous things that this so-called Christian nation of the United States of America has done to its fellow man, you might rethink your debates and disagreements you have with the LGBT community. Okay? You might as well just back it up, go to the dugout, sit down, drink some tea, and enjoy life. I'm going to go to break. It's the bottom of the hour. I'll be back in a few. Short segment coming up. Don't go away. There's more to come. If you have questions, please let me know. If you want to debate me, please let me know. If you disagree with me, the burden of proof is on you. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. You can go to the website if you're not already there. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Talk to you in a bit.
grand adventure.
Yeah.
From the directorial debut of Brian James Griffo, two brothers faced with a rare genetic disease that causes blindness decide to take a journey of a lifetime and answer the question, what would you see if you knew you were going to go blind?
It honestly makes me feel so small and like whatever problems I have are nothing.
What would you do?
You're supposed to smell it first.
Who would you meet?
This is an opportunity for us to connect with people.
In a groundbreaking documentary that cuts to the heart of what it means to be a brother.
It blows my mind that 100 years ago, this is how people would have done this trip that we're doing. Yep.
And gain a world of vision while losing eyesight. Come along to be inspired and reminded of the very meaning of life through a 12,000-mile road trip. Driving Blind. Coming soon.
Coming to America.
Hey, this is Frank Hannon. I want to tell you about an exciting brand new rock and roll album coming out this year by guitarist Greg Golden. Greg Golden's new album is some old school sounding rock and roll music that's sure to be a classic, featuring some killer songs, blazing guitar solos, and awesome lead vocals by Jeff Sandoval and Randy Scholes from Montrose. Take a listen to some of these songs on this album.
Old school rock and roll, got the music in my soul. Old school rock and roll, everybody gonna lose control. Maybe crazy, but I ain't no fool. I live my life by the golden rule from the old school. Yeah, of rock and roll. Woo!
Won't see it coming, but it's coming fast. That girl just does what she please, like a bad winner, baby. Cool on in and take you down. A bad winner, baby. No safe haven where she's found. Turn on the radio. Just time to make the show. Get on your dancing shoes. They're getting rave reviews. No other place to go. We're going back to Reno. Burning hearts, tears, and flames in the rain. Burning hearts, tears, and flames in the rain.
Be sure to check out the new Greg Golden album coming out on Red Hawk Records this year. www.greggoldenband.com.
Hey, folks, welcome back. This is the American Liberty Radio Network. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. This is a short segment. I'd like to ask you a question. Something to think about. Something to think about because I think that we all have been distracted so much that we just cannot seem to find the most logical explanation for anything at this point. In Australia, gay marriage is banned. So are guns. Interesting contrast considering that we have a U.S. Supreme Court decision that just gave all the gays and lesbians the right to marry. But inadvertently, I think the Supreme Court forgot a little something. It's called equal protection. I talked about it a little bit ago. So they're using the equal protection clause to allow gays to marry. Well, if that's the case, as I said before, earlier in the show, I have a right to carry my weapon anywhere I want. Equal protection. In more than figurative ways as well. But, think about this, folks. Here's my question. Think about this. We have been distracted by Bruce Jenner's transformation into a woman. We've been distracted by flags. We've been distracted by cake decorators being sued by the LGBT community. Now are they going to go back to those cake decorators and what? Demand that they make those cakes? Here's my question. When did, I talked about morals and ethics a little bit ago. When did the morals and ethics of a human being, you can look at yourself in the mirror or talk to other people and know what is right to do, what not right to do, what, you just don't kill somebody because that's taking away their liberty of living. When were our morals and ethics thrown out the door? When were they? When were they destroyed? Because I don't remember hearing anything about morals and ethics being destroyed. I've just seen actions by overly egotistical, narcissistic people who want power and control over everyone. We would call those progressives, by the way, and they're on both sides of the aisle. And we see people looking at us not as human beings with morals and ethics, but as commodities, as if we're in a market to be sold to the highest bidder. Well, we were in 1871, but when were our morals and ethics thrown out the door? Okay? I know it's a tough question to answer, and I know it's probably racking your, causing your brain to go into overdrive, but when did we throw away our morals and ethics? I don't think we did. I think what we did is we listened to some folks who thought that they were moral and ethical, but they lied to us. In other words, they skull-plugged us, folks. Then they cause us to, they word certain things in a certain way to where we can neither agree or disagree with it. Because if we disagreed with it, we're agreeing with it. If we agree with it, we're disagreeing with it. And therefore, our votes do not count. Okay? Our votes do not count. The morals and ethics that we have in this country were based upon what? Personal views. Long before we had any type of established religion in this country. And therefore, those personal views are projected onto the populace in such a way to where it numbs our minds, and then the progressives can come in and tell us anything they want. And we believe it. So think about that one, folks. When was our morals and ethics thrown out the door? That's the question. I want to hear from you. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Go to the website, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. If you want to support American Liberty Radio Network, let me know. Send me some email. We'll work something out. Talk to you in a bit. Be right back. Longer and last segment coming up. Talk to you later. This is the American Liberty Radio Network. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com and email us at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. The only service of this kind, offering you fast and easy access to the very best talent from around the world. Creating your own audio doesn't have to be difficult or time-consuming. Music Radio Creative is your source for all of your audio and production needs. That's Music Radio Creative. MusicRadioCreative.com. Get prepared. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to ALR Network Survival Store at AmericanLibertyRadio.com and click on ALR Survival Store. The only choice for all your independent hits on the internet. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to RadioRockTheBlitz.blogspot.com. Hey folks, how you doing? Last segment of the podcast. This is American Liberty Radio Network. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. At this point, things are changing, and probably in the next few months, I'll let you know what those changes are. And I'll give you a clue. We're changing FEMA regions. I'm just letting you know, but I'll let you know more in detail as to what's happening and all of that. Now, I want to get back to this Supreme Court decision. I don't have a problem with it, do you? I disagree with the procedures and the fact that the Supreme Court decided to legislate from the bench again against Congress and all of that, when we all know that Congress is now irrelevant. It is now the President of the United States and the Supreme Court. Has nothing to do with the three branches of government. He is the head of the executive branch, so that has taken over. There is no longer any oversight from the other two branches, and Congress is irrelevant. Put those things together, what do you have? You have a dictatorship. That's what you have, folks. Go look it up. It's there. So with this Supreme Court decision recognizing gay marriage throughout all 50 states, and the inadvertently, if you want to call it that, I don't know. The fact that the Equal Protection Law does apply to the Second Amendment as well, we now have a debate about ready to start. Right? And that's what public opinion is. You open with an opinion, you get someone else's view on it, you begin to discuss it, and then it goes into the category of debate, and then it goes into the mainstream, and then people talk about it. This is only the tip of the iceberg, folks. This is only the tip of the iceberg. There are other things that we need to be concerned with at this point. There are other things that we need to put our energies into. And we really need to straighten out this country. And I'm going to say this. My next statement is directed straight at the Christians. You're not going to get your way. No, brother, it's going to be God's way. Really? I have looked in history, and I can tell you that, number one, Christians are the most persecuted group of people in the world. Secondly, race is a big issue in the world. Doesn't matter. It's not a black-white thing here in America as much as it is a religious thing. And then they use black-white. And here's the other thing. Intellectually speaking, how are people looking at the issues, and what is their level of knowledge of these issues? Okay? You got to think about that one. Or those three, actually. So Christians, you're not going to get your way. Period. End of sentence. Done. I'll just wait till the Lord comes back and he'll straighten you out. Really? Have you been so skull-plugged into believing your own doctrines? When you can look back in history, in every aspect of society, political, religious, intellectual, and you will see an open debate being implemented in some way, shape, or form to bring about the results of the issues discussed. Okay? Christians, you're not going to get your way, but I want to encourage you to do this. If you have the balls and the backbone to do this. Look at what Mussolini did, Stalin did, Hitler did, Saddam Hussein did, Muammar Gaddafi did. You look at these people, and they used religion as a tyrannical tool to control their people. Whether it was the occult, whether it was Christianity, whether it was the prophecies of Nostradamus, look at what happened. Then you tell me, Mr. and Mrs. Christians, Mr. and Mrs. Christian, who are against everything that doesn't go with their doctrine or their personal views, you tell me how far you're going to get. Do you just roll over and say, well, that's the way it is and, we're done? No. But you're not going to get your way. Here's what you need to do. Very simple. Protect yourself. Prepare yourself for the worst, hope for the best, but lock and load. Because if there are as many Christians in the United States as statistics have shown, you folks have the ability to overtake any foreign enemy and domestic and restore this country back to basically to the principles of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights prior to 1871. You folks better go check that one out too. So now, Christians, why are you so brainwashed and distracted by this gay marriage issue? Don't you think there's other things that you need to be concerned with at this point? Seriously? I don't know about you, but hey, I'll protect you just as much as you want to protect me. You know why? Because you're a human being, that's why. I don't care what color you are. I don't even care what sexual orientation you are. You're a human being, for goodness sakes. You can change the outside, but you certainly can't change the fact that you're a human being. I may disagree with you wholeheartedly about certain things, but if somebody tried to attack you and I was able to protect you, I would. I can't say that about certain Christians in this nation. But I know I would protect you at all costs. So think about it. Now, I want to direct my next statement to these hardcore leftists that really think that they can skull plug each and every one of us into believing what you believe. Let me bottom line it for you. Two things. First, you're not going to get what you want. Secondly, the system that you so praise as your quote-unquote savior is going to chew you up and spit you out when they are done with you. Do you understand that? Or do I have to make it much more understandable for you? You're going to get screwed like everyone else. Got it? And your life extension technology is not going to help you, because you'll look at the prize. Yeah, okay, if I do this, I get this. No, the progressives over and above you or your bosses are going to look at you and go, really? Is that what you thought you were going to get? There's the door. They're going to chew you up and spit you out. Okay? Just letting you know, because history has proven that. Look what Stalin did to most of his family and most of his cabinet members. He didn't trust them at all. Look what Hitler did to most of his people. Look what Mussolini did. Look what... let's go. You can look the history up yourself, folks. I don't have to give you a history lesson. I'm sure you can read. Folks, I'll be back right after this. I want you to take a listen to this. Don't go away. I shall return. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. This is the American Liberty Radio Network. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com and email us at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com.
We all live in a police state. We must accept that now. What we must do is to challenge every law or ordinance or policy on a local level. We must completely defy all orders that are unconstitutional and unlawful. We must peacefully engage in civil disobedience.
It is our right, our duty, to disobey unconstitutional laws and tyrannical philosophies. We must stand up and defend the basic principles of freedom and liberty.
The nation is falling apart and people are being distracted. We must adhere to the spirit of the words of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
There are evil men in the world who are positioning themselves to take over certain countries and enslave the population. With their vain philosophies and illogical outlooks, these men will push for control and set themselves up as powerful leaders, but they will not survive and neither will their countries. The hearts of these men are beating at a very rapid pace, and they are filled with anxiety and fear, for as one leader falls, another takes their place. Each are fearful of the other, because they do not know when they should take defensive positions. Many of the corporate minions in Washington, D.C. are just pawns in this global chess game. It's all political theater and the script has already been written. It is now time for the general public to wake up to the fact that this whole political system is rigged. The facts are that we live in the United States of America Incorporated. Freedom has a price, and the general public, who believes they are free, are being deceived into believing they have a choice. There is no choice. All of the political leaders are selected, not elected. There is no such thing as democracy or republic. Those ideals ended in 1871.
Hey, folks. How you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Email me, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. You can listen to American Liberty Radio live Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Let me guide you into some understanding briefly here. We are not what we used to be. For many, many years, since the mid to late 60s, I believe, the changes in society in America were evident with the protests of the Vietnam War, with the ending of the Vietnam War in 1974, with all of that up until 1980, 88, 89, 90. Bill Clinton became president. Okay. We had all this. Society had changed from being a very, being viewed as a very strong and very dominant country in terms of power around the world. And its people were very much free and liberated to do what needed to be done, and there wasn't really much of a resistance from the federal government. Since 2001, September 11th, we've had complete and utter resistance from the federal government in many, many, many different ways. And if it wasn't for the alternative media or the independent media, we wouldn't have the issues out in the mainstream and the corrupt state-run media as we do. We would not see it the way that it is from their point of view, but we know it, and we know what it is from our point of view. I am an independent and alternative media person, and I resist all aspects of the state-run media in their ways of trying to buffalo me into believing what they say. There's a handful, and I'm talking a very small percentage of people in the mainstream media that actually know the truth and are telling people about it, but are they controlled opposition? This is something that I'm still looking into, and you should too. Bottom line is, folks, we got to kick ass because we know their names. We understand what's going on. We got to pull the veil from their faces to expose them for the monsters they are. We got to rip the curtain away and show who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. And independent and alternative media does that. Now, I know there are some people in the alternative and independent media who have disagreements with other people who claim certain things and all of this, and there's some distraction in that. But we have to stay the course if we want to be free and liberated people in what we used to call the United States of America. Okay? So if you want to support American Liberty Radio Network, you can. Just email me. We'll work something out. If you want to sponsor the podcast or the live show, please let me know. It's really inexpensive, folks. Trust me. I'm not out to break your advertising budget. Email me, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Always go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Folks, it's always great to come to you, and I'll do this some more. Look for it tomorrow. Liberty is the road, and freedom is the goal.